Hi, my name is Elizabeth Gerald. I am the founder of the MJG movement. We advocate for sexual assault victims, domestic violence, suicide prevention, police brutality, sex trafficking, etc. We do this in honor of my daughter who committed suicide as a result of a brutal rape. I didn't get her counseling because everybody always asks that, but trial was just a bit much. And if you're more interested, just go Google her, Marcie, Marcie, Gerald, Gerald. Last year, right before COVID hit, we had started a podcast, Be the Voice. And my goal was to have mothers and families come on and tell their stories. I would have the mothers who've lost their children, whether it be the police shootings, community violence, black on black shootings, domestic violence, suicide. It could have been natural causes. And we would also have rape victims come on and tell their stories, and women that are survivors of domestic violence come on, because one of the things people don't realize is that we all have a story and everybody's been through something. And nobody can tell your story like you can. And I just wanted to build a platform for people to come out and feel comfortable and tell their stories. And then COVID hit, so it kind of slowed us down. So, we decided to start with the YouTube. Me and Yolanda did the first one. She's one of my sisters. She's a domestic violence survivor. She was beaten with a hammer. She wears the patch over her eye. And my other sister, Dorothy Holmes, her son was killed by police detectives in Chicago. So I have, I partner with everybody. I support everybody. The difference between me and like a lot of the so-called activists is I'm there when the cameras are not there. I'm there to support. My heart is really pure. One of the things I really wanted to do was to get a sistership with all of us, and we just come together. Because we see Tamika Mallory and Black Lives Matter and Shaun King when there's a police shooting, and then when there's no, and then it's a high profile police shooting. And I don't think a lot of people realize that there's a high profile versus a low profile, which I found out more about that when I went to Minneapolis for George Floyd, but that's a whole nother video, another day. um, I just want people to be able to come and feel comfortable and get like a sistership between us, because it's time. Everybody has been through so much, especially last year with COVID. And I just think as the black community in general, we really need to just start coming together and start being kind to one another, showing love for one another. And as I was saying, I don't come when the media is there. I come after the media, because that's when you're grieving and you're by yourself. That's when it really starts to tear at you and tug at you. And those activists, it just seems like they're there to build their platform, get their money, build their platform, and that's about it, because they're not there. And I've had a few run-ins, and I've had my dealings with them. I don't have nothing against none of them, but it just seems like they're there to build a platform, and I just don't think that's right. I've had so many mothers tell me different things, and that they went through with BLM and other activists, and that's not for my story to tell. That's their story to tell. But my goal is to do with this channel is to have real people come on and tell their stories, whether it's you're a sexual assault victim or domestic violence, if you've lost your child or your loved one to the police brutality, shootings, black on black shootings, white on black shootings, even if you just lost a child to maybe cancer or whatever, reach out to me. I have a Facebook page. I'm Elizabeth Gerald TF, which stands for Team Family. It's a comic book picture of my daughter. I have a movement page, which is MJG Movement on Facebook. I have an IG. I think it's MJG Movement on IG, and it's like a cartoon picture of my daughter. Um, and the reason for this video is, you know, I wanted to express, I had made a couple of videos the other day about regarding the little girl, Jasmine Adams. While we were waiting for George Floyd's for his trial to come back to see if we were going to be found guilty or not, I was wondering, you know, when were we going to start, you know, showing this family of Jasmine Adams some kind of support. And one of the things I noticed is that, you know, there is no Tamika Mallory, there is no Shaun King, there is no BLM. I guess because it wasn't a police shooting, so, you know, it's not important, or it's not a high profile police shooting, so it's not going to bring them any likes and clicks and all this BS. And one of the things I think is that when you say Black Lives Matter, who does Black Lives Matter to? Because if we don't love us, nobody else is going to love us. Until we start to respect us, nobody else is going to respect us. When you say Black Lives Matter, when you have a 7-year-old baby girl who was killed at McDonald's sitting in her dad's car and there's no outrage, that's a prime example. But if she'd have been killed by the police, Chicago would have been on fire now. And I don't like that type of stuff. I think that when you say Black Lives Matter, then all of these cases should be a priority. It really should be, because what people don't realize is when you lose your child, there's no pain like that. I don't care. You can say, I've lost my mother, I've lost my father, I've lost this person, I've lost that person, my husband, boyfriend, whoever. It's not the same. The day you lose your child, anybody that has lost a child, bury them, will tell you that they're not the same no more. That person, you know, their souls are pretty much gone. You know, a lot of times they call you angry Black women or whatever. But when you bury your child, it just takes a lot of you, and you're never the same no more. You don't have that spirit you used to have. It just goes away. So when you have these super capes, as I call them, the activists running around here putting certain people on pedestals because of the way they lost their child, I just think that's kind of inhumane, and it's just not right. You don't put a person on a pedestal or treat a person like a king or queen because the police shot them, and then don't give two shits when it's a regular Black person that kills another person's child. You know, I just think we all should be treated the same, and it should be equal. I just think it's crazy. And, you know, I think everybody needs justice. I'm happy, thrilled, and you know, I was very happy when George Floyd, murderer, was found guilty. But I want justice for that baby girl, Jasmine Adams. She was 7. She was innocent. And I also want justice for the girl who was killed in Ohio. I think her name was Michaela. She needs justice too. Stop picking and choosing how a person loses their child to praise them or put them on a pedestal, because it's crazy how in the Black community, when it's a Black on Black shooting, you know, a lot of times the mothers are dragged. You know, I remember when Tyshawn Lee was murdered, the Black community dragged her for the filth. But then the little boy, the 13-year-old boy who was recently killed, his mother deserves justice too. His mother's not being drugged. You know, this boy was 13 and out in the streets at 3 o'clock in the morning hanging with a 20-year-old shooting at cars. Should he have been killed? No, he shouldn't have been killed, because nobody should be killed. But if it would have been a Black person that killed they killed their young boy, or one of those cars he was shooting at, if they'd have stopped and shot back at him and killed him, it wouldn't be no poor Adam Toledo. They'd have been talking about the little boy was a thug, he was this, that, and the other. And I'm just tired of the bullshit. I just think we need to come together. We keep saying we don't need help with this and we don't need help with that, but we have to come together and start holding people accountable for their actions. We hold the police accountable when they kill us. When somebody that looks like us kill us, they should be held accountable too, because everybody deserves justice. Everybody deserves to be treated fairly. Everybody deserves the same treatment. Don't come running when it's a high profile, and then when it's low profile, it's crickets. It's just not right. And with this, I hope you have a great day and stay safe. I love you all. Take care.